and she practiced.
My bad, my bad. Blessings, blessings, Gary. Bust it down, Brown. I lost the mouse for a second. How you doing?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Don't mind the back. Don't mind the background. I'm outside in the cuts. They're still playing
Who
with
said
fireworks. But I'm listening while I'm watching the video, and she's trying to. I think the mayor is trying to equal what they're asking for, right? She
yeah,
says she's trying to give them 13% over 4 years. They want 13% every year. How do you do that?
they want 13%, right, and 5% increase every year.
Yeah, because they want eight. They want eight and three quarters of an annual raise, and then they want 5%. What is that? Hazard pay
They didn't
increase.
they didn't have percent. They want an increase every year. That's all they want. They said a 5% increase of the wages. I think it wasn't hazard paid, but they want hazard paid included too.
All I
That's
know
why
is
I'm sure
that's
again.
a large increase for an annual salary. I don't I
Yeah,
don't I don't think most people get that anywhere. But
here we
the
go.
police don't get that. The fire department don't get that. You know what I mean? Like, how are they going to just get eight? Yeah, look at that. Okay, she's saying 5. They saying 8. You look, she going up to 8 points. They want
No,
15%.
no, she's not saying that. She was. They're explaining to us in 2024 to 2025 it was 5%, right? Now from 2025 to 2028 they'll get 8.75%, right, and a 15% increase. The city gets paid 8.75 and the union gets paid 15%. That's a good pay.
Yeah, because that's damn near doubling them. So why? What else do they? What else could they possibly want? They
They're
was
talking
just
about
equal with
hazard
the
pay
city
and that.
last year. Yeah, but look, in 24, 25, they're even, right? The city
Hmm.
getting 5, the union was getting 5%. That's what they battling for. Now
That's
you
why
go
she
to the
keeps
next
saying
3 years, they say
historical.
it's
Oh
no way in the
shit!
world you can get 15%.
Because they're getting paid less.
There's
Damn,
no
that
way
shit crazy.
they
I
can
got
get
what you're saying.
it's
See, if you wouldn't have pointed that
impossible.
out, I wouldn't have noticed that. I wouldn't have noticed that at all.
That- Like we have to like in order for things to run, you have to be realistic. Yes, there's a number that you feel like is a medium point, right? But
Yeah.
where's the medium at? She
Right now,
say, or the
nowhere.
city say 8 and 3 quarters. They saying 15. So if you multiply 8 and 3 quarters by 2, that's damn near 17.5%. Y'all want damn near 15%. That's 1 point. That's damn near a double up. Who could afford that? So what do they? So what does the city got to rob Peter to pay the garbage people for? Who they got to
More
rob?
schools because they're not going to be able to take from the prisons. That's a no. We all know that.
But that's what I'm saying. They have to be realistic, right? Nobody's not saying that the people just striking they're not warranted of a raise, but that's kind of crazy. 15% raise. If you was to do a annual, if you was to do a poll of what is the normal size raise in your city, I promise you it won't be no 15%. That number will probably be like maybe what they're saying now, 5%. So y'all want to get a 300% increase if your regular annual raise is 5%.
Yeah,
The regular
it's
people ain't even
crazy.
getting that. The regular people might get $1 raise, a 50-cent raise, a 75-cent raise. It's kind of hard to then turn around and say, you know what? So we make it 30,000. So let's get a 15% raise of our 30,000.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too. Like, the math ain't adding up somewhere. That's why I'm like, this shit is not going to
So
work
you
out like
so you
this.
got
Like, they
nine.
have.
So you would have 9,000 people with a $9,000 raise. just using our numbers, right?
Yeah, because there's
30,000, we know
9,000
that
union workers.
that's what I'm saying. The $6,000, $4,500 raise. So 9,000 times 4,500. Is that even in the budget for it to even be possible? And then after that, you want hazard pay. How many of your people are working actually in the hazard field, right? You got regular
Well,
garbage, you got the oil, you got all of these other things. How many of these people got to get raises? So you want them to get that $4,500 raise plus something else. You have to
and you
meet
know what's
halfway.
crazy? I'm glad you just said that. You know what's crazy? The majority of them will sit here, right? And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, this has to also put in the work. If y'all get a raise, is y'all going to pick up our trash better? Is y'all going to be cleaner with our trash? I mean, it's already bad enough the citizens are dirty as shit. I'm sorry to say it. There's no hairs in my tongue. There's no filters in my mouth. You see where I'm coming from? This shit should be hand in hand on some real shit. Like, y'all should be able to clean y'all fronts. If y'all don't got, if y'all don't want to clean y'all front, at least pay these young bulls out here, because there's young bulls out here walking around, willing to take, hey, let me get 10, 15. Just don't be cheap about it. What the fuck they gonna do with $5 and they just cleaned your whole front and your whole yard? Come on, let's be realistic about that shit. So it's like
let's
there's
look at
people
it
out
that
here
way,
like,
right? So let's look at it from that standpoint, right? So now let's say people start doing that now, right? Now the city want to adopt that. What the union gonna do with that?
exactly. That's
You
my
see
thing.
what I'm
That's what I was
saying?
just asking.
There's no win for losing with them. So why y'all trying to get all of this amount
I mean, I
of
know
15% when y'all could just meet outright? Y'all they saying eight three quarters, go to 10%, go to 12%. You got the raise that you need. 15 is crazy. That's astronomical.
and
They
then
really shooting for the stars.
the one suffering is mostly the elderly. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I said, listen, they're saying that we're gonna start having a rodent infestation. Motherfuckers, we already have that. We already have that, because as a block captain, you see me go live plenty of times and show the alleyways, show them the streets and stuff like that. You see where I'm coming from? I don't just blame the trash people. I don't blame the sanitation department. I blame us too. All right, us, because we don't know how to keep our shit organized. I don't give a fuck if you buy the cheapest bag, but if you organize your trash, there wouldn't be trash all over the goddamn streets. And if a trash, how can I say it? A sanitation worker comes, picks up your trash, right, and that trash bag breaks, right next to right in the street where they're picking it up, because that's where mostly breaks at, in the motherfucking street.
Right.
If it breaks on the sidewalk, okay, it's up to the citizen to pick it up. But motherfuckers, y'all break these bags in the streets. Oh, they shouldn't have been buying. I mean, listen, I've done lives where I've shown this shit. They over here talking shit about the citizens going back and forth with them. I'm like, but it's true. Like, how you judging this motherfucker because they couldn't afford a fucking $2 trash bag? They could only afford a quarter bag. You can't do that shit. Next time, grab the bag the right way if you know some motherfuckers can't afford good bags. And they won't break on your ass. If y'all will stop picking up the trash cans and stop playing fucking ping pong with them, right? Y'all will get the trash dumped into the fucking trash can, right? Like, this ain't fucking basketball. It's the sanitation department. Y'all talking about y'all worrying about a needle, then grab the bags the right fucking way, because you don't know who the fuck is a heroin addict. If the heroin addict was sitting in that trash fucking humping another heroin addict and sticking needles on themselves at the same time, got up and left that shit there with some condoms along the side. You didn't think about that, but you just sure as hell grabbed the motherfucking bag and, try to throw it in the hoop inside the little circle thingy, the little fucking trash monster thing that goes boom, boom. You sit here grabbing that shit like it's a basketball, but you worrying about being healthy, about being stung by a needle, stuck by a needle. My bad, stung. They're not bees, but you'll get my whole point. Like, if y'all do get these raises, is y'all going to get y'all employees to be better workers? Because there's no way in hell we should be seeing sanitation workers going head to head with fucking elderly people. I mean, I got a whole live on that one from I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. I was on a live already. That's why I have it. It's not that I pulled my phone out. I was doing a live. You see where I'm coming from? And boom, I caught that shit on the live. So it's kind of like, come on, let's be realistic. Like, that same instance that I've caught it once on the live, other motherfuckers can do the same shit. Look, this is the issue we're having. When I was on the live and I say, yo, it's fucked up. Look, listen, Y'all some good workers. You know, you need me to call the police department because, as you know, citizens, they should be respectful. They asked for, they asked for me as a block captain to go to the politicians and demand these manholes and these sewers and all this bullshit to get fixed, right? In order for this shit to get done, they have to break the streets and fix the fucking streets. So if you're not supposed to be parked in this area, I already know we have a parking issue. Motherfuckers own 10 cars to one house. It's like Killer Clown in outer space on some real shit. I'm trying to figure out how the hell you got like shit on some real shit. You got one little car and there's 20 people in each car. And it's not just Mexicans. We're talking about a community mixed in with blacks, whites, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Asians. You see where I'm coming from? Like, let's be real. And then we're supposed to be in the ghetto in the hood. How the fuck you own 5 cars while you're still renting a house that's $1,000 and up?
Oh, they live in that. They live in that ghetto life. Yeah, they live in the hood life.
Here for doing all this shit. I was like, now I don't know where they got this information unless they got her fucking pay stubs. You see where I'm coming from? Unless they see her, because according to the law, a mayor cannot raise her fucking her paying wages, right? According to the law, the council's supposed to do that. If not, if she did that, she would have been exposed the same way Tiffany Hayard was. I hope I'm saying her name right. That fucking mayor is under the fucking roof right now for doing her citizen. The governor, I don't know if she's a governor or a mayor. I think she's a mayor. She did her citizens dirty as shit. Like, come on, like they exposed the shit out of her. What makes y'all think they went and exposed fucking Cheryl Parker, receipts and all, like they did that one? So if y'all got the proof on her, show it. Is my point. You see, other than that, let's do what the fuck we gotta do. I'm not gonna sit here and pick a side unless you got proof. Because so far she's doing what she's gotta do. Is my point.
Because the people that's hurt, like you said, the people that's hurting the most is the elderly, the citizens that can't, that don't have those 10 cars. They don't, you know what I mean? That 65-year-old woman that got to get all of that stuff for that 65-year-old man that got to get that medical waste up out of there, right? They getting punished. They getting done all that, and they don't even have the $5 to pay that because they got to pay for their medicine. They on a budget. Right? They can't even give away 50 cents because that 50 cents count for something else. If it's extra, they trying to hold on to it to add the next. They want to hire. So
that's a fact. And listen, and that's a fact. That's true right there too, right? And that's why I mentioned them first. But let's not forget, y'all want a higher pay raise, but let's not forget there's single mothers out here and single fathers out here struggling 2 to 3 jobs, right? No cars. They can't get their trash over there. They got their kids. 3, 4, 5 kids sometimes. And I'm not bringing up the bad parents. I'm bringing up the good ones. Fuck the bad parents. I'm talking about these good parents out here with good kids, some of them with disabilities.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all of this have a play. All of this have a hand in the situation. So what is the 15% going to add? Is it going to add the weekly 3 garbage day pickups? They add garbage day pick. What do they want? Like, what is it that they really want? But this lady is sitting there. She's telling y'all, this is a raise that hasn't happened in over 30 years. So that's what, 95. So since 1995, this was not even thought about. They jumped up there from 5% to 8 3/4. That's a nice little raise. But y'all saying, nah, we want a 200% raise from 5% to 15%. How do you do that?
Did y'all not just forget that Trump just cut a lot of budgets and he just passed the big beautiful bill? Listen, the same way that the sanitation workers are out here struggling, so are these single mothers, these elderly people out here. And I'm not talking about the motherfuckers that are taking advantage of the government. And what I mean by that, those that are dependent on SSI and stuff like that, some of them do really need it. That's the crazy part. But I can't sit here and break it up without going into details. That'll throw us into a whole nother topic. But I'm just putting out there a point, trying to put an example. What are the solutions? Instead of us making these excuses because we look like fucking fools, or let's throw the trash in front of the mayor's house, let's dirty up our streets. It's like we're rioting right now. Y'all not seeing it? What the fuck is Philadelphia going to do? Is y'all going to keep sleeping, or is y'all going to wake the fuck up and smell the fucking coffee in the morning? Majority of y'all use your fucking welfare checks and y'all SSIs to go get it. Dunkin' Donuts right around the corner. So let's be real. Some of y'all use that shit on fucking weed and crack. So
But
y'all
how
telling me y'all
large
can't
is
pay somebody
District 33?
$5? Real large.
How large is
Listen,
District 33?
District 33 is in charge of employees, 911 dispatchers, right? The people that work in the morgue, recreation centers. That's why a lot of recreation centers are closed right now. A lot of recreation centers are closing early. You see, instead of opening up to like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they'll close up around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon because the workers are on strike. For example, here in Huntington Park, they'll close at 5 o'clock, right? Because the caretaker that deals with the maintenance and all that is not there. The kids were getting frustrated. You know, they was getting pulled out the pool every 10 to 15 minutes. Like, that's not enjoying them. They're not enjoying shit. Like, they get in, they swim for a couple minutes, splash around, get out. Then they gotta wait, get back in. I'm like, yo, y'all playing fucking tag with these kids. One of these days, these kids are gonna snap. Like, we want to have fun. It's not working. It's not gonna work.
And look at this. But look how crazy that is. The city's so dirty now that you can't even turn the sprinkler cap on. You can't even turn the fire hydrant on. That's what you gonna do. You gonna run in there with the garbage? Like, how does that work? See what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that has to go into these situations. They pick a horrible time to do that.
Let me ask you a question. If it was in your city, right, and it was all going on, if the biggest union, the biggest district, right, dealing with the biggest union in your city went under strike, right, and you had family members, right, and it's crazy that a judge had to order medics and 911 dispatchers to go back to work, because if they didn't, the 4th of July would have went left. You see where I'm coming from? If it was in your city, right, and a judge, if it wasn't for a judge passing an injunction saying y'all gotta go to work or else, you see where I'm coming from? Like, what would you do if it was your loved one in a morgue there for weeks because everybody was on strike and you're waiting to lay your loved one to rest? How would you feel? Pissed as shit. If that judge wouldn't have did that, we would have been having riots in the city right now. People don't realize that shit.
I put that comment. I put that comment in the chat earlier. Listen, if y'all got to go through all that, y'all might as well bury them in your backyard. Well, everybody's not a homeowner, but if you're a homeowner, no, I'm being for real. Because if you're a homeowner, you put your body in the backyard. That shuts down. That you ain't got to pay property taxes. Ask Trump. Trump did it with his wife.
Yeah, you still have to ask for permission.
He buried his ex-wife in the golf court. He don't got to pay taxes no more. That's a fact.
And I think what I'm saying. I think you have to ask for permission to do that. And is it legal? Let me see.
Yeah. It depends on what states. Some states do it, some states don't. You gotta have like you gotta have a certain amount of yard space or whatever. I understand all of that. But still, what are y'all doing? Y'all just got the body in the morgue.
Facts.
See what I'm saying? What are y'all saying? But then if I do that, y'all want to take me to jail because y'all don't have the people to take care of the situation. So I'm gonna take care of the situation. Now I'm breaking the law. See, it's a give and take situation, but they doing a lot of taking and not enough giving.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody wants to take, but they don't want to give.
So that's crazy. Like, and you could tell, like, I don't know, this could probably be a greed thing. I don't know. They probably, I mean, if they offer, like, damn, I would take any raise. Any raise would be good. Like, the same way you having it hard, like, then if it's like that, you know, how can I say it? You're saying that it's hard for you like that, right? And because, you know, a lot of the sanitation workers, you know, they got to pick up bags. They're in places, you know, where addicts leave the needles and stuff like that, right? Then, you know, the nurses should get a raise too. All nurses should get a raise. Then all health aid. All health aid. You see my point? Health aid workers should get a raise too, because they're not just dealing, you know, how can I say, they're also dealing with hazardous situations. A lot of them are dealing with patients that got HIV, you know, and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I think it's easy dealing with their needles, you know, dealing with changing them and stuff like that, especially the ones that are bed bound. A lot of them are dealing with people that got a lot of illness, viruses that are they can get transferred. They should get a hazard pay too, and a bigger raise. And I can sit here and tell you that the health aides don't get a hazard pay. Health aides, you can go there without a fucking how can I say a diploma? All you doing is helping out a patient. You see where I'm coming from? Taking care of their needs,
picking up his poop, wiping their butt,
asses,
doing
all
these
that
things,
shit.
giving them a shot. Yeah,
so they don't
playing
got
with urine and all this.
They don't have the same privileges that a regular aide has in a hospital. You see where I'm coming from? So how about them? They get a raise. How about the people that deal with the homeless and all that shit? Do they get a raise too?
Nope.
That's my whole point.
They got to deal with the worst because they're literally risking life.
But if it's like that, then all the people that have to deal with hazardous situations should get a raise. That's why I'm not just looking at one situation, because it's not just about all this is leading to a lot of people, being affected. Like, it's bad enough. We're not just about to start a fucking massive splinter infestation. It's been happening. The problem that we're going to have right now is, are we going to find a solution for all the rodents that have to come out? Because there's more than what it was before, and they're bigger and bigger. See, I'm scared as shit of them, but I'll sit here and save an elderly. I don't give a fuck. I might face my fear because it's fucked up and crazy. How the hell is we fucking them over? How can they help themselves, especially the ones in Kings, the ones in bedbound? I seen the old head right here over here. Like they left the construction site for 2 days, but they came back. But all this trash that they had right there. I'm sitting here, I was like, I want to clean this drum right here. But how the heck do I do this shit by myself? Clip is on strike. I can call Clip for help. You see where I'm coming from? Oh, wait a minute.
All right.
I can't do it because y'all on strike. Now this lady right here, the back is all infested with rats and shit like that, and she's on her own. So it's kind of like, oh, you see the situation? Some of us could only but help so much. So we need to find a solution. It's not just up to them. While they're on strike, what are we going to do as citizens? Instead of destroying our neighborhoods by throwing the trash in the goddamn streets, we need to keep the trash organized, or pay the people that are willing to take your trash to the actual sanitation department. What they do with it afterwards is not our problem. It's the government's problem.
Yeah, because if you now here's the funny part, right? So let's say everybody turns around, get one of those big black bins, right? They throw their garbage in there and they burn it up. Are they going to go to jail for that?
I never thought about that. Let me see. Is it illegal in Philadelphia to put trash in a big garbage bin and put it on flames? Yes, it is illegal.
See what I'm saying? So y'all making the people dependent on you. Now that y'all on strike, I can't depend on you. So how am I supposed to get this done?
You was just talking about this the other day on your channel. I was listening when I was cleaning. When was it? Like 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, you was just talking about independent and
being independent.
Oh, was it yesterday? Damn. See, I
yesterday, being independent.
Yeah, you was talking about independent and independence.
And this is exactly my point. Everybody want to be, let me hold it down. Let me be a monopoly. You're so independent now. You got to be dependent on these people to take your trash. Now you got to depend on the bus service. Now you got to depend on the city to do all of these things. And now the city shut down. Now what? What?
You just proved your point. I don't think nobody could shut your question down right now. Damn, he just made a point. Anybody that was trying to debate Gary, he just proved y'all. He just proved his point. I mean, I can't say shit right now. I'm stuck. He's right.
I understand that people want to be, individuals. There's no mistake in that. But when you when you going through situations when you have to be dependent on somebody, you can still be an individual, but you got to live in the real world. You are dependent of people, right? Just like we are independent content creators, right? But if the people don't show up to give us feedback, how do we know we working or not? How do we know we're succeeding or not? See what I'm saying? We are dependent on the views. We're dependent on the feedback from the chat in order for us to see if we moving a needle or whatever. People registering what we're saying, right? That's why I'm saying you can't be that damn independent to think that you don't need nobody. You do need somebody. Just like right now, we talking about people not having the people may not have the $5 to give to these people to dump the garbage.
Facts.
You paying like $1,000. The people with the 10 cars, they probably paying about $300 for each car now for insurance.
Yeah.
Now you're paying more on insurance for a car than your house for rent. But instead of they getting their way, they pride and ego getting away. So now I'm not gonna sell my car. I need to look good. I need to look like I got it. Well, what's a good look if you got it? If you can't afford it, what's the point?
You know what's funny? You make a good point, because that goes back to me going to talking around with the neighbors and stuff like that, right? When I came out and I asked, I'm like, what do y'all think if I, get a petition, right? And I get all of y'all to sign it. I'm not talking about just my neighbor. I'm talking about the whole community. The HP community. I'll go around from street to street, community. The signatures. Let's get these trash bins in the corners. One next to the Chinese store. The other one might be in front of a store. Right, the other one might be in front of a church, a barbershop, whatever's in the corner is gonna have to deal with a bin being there, right? But I'm talking about like the bins they got in New York City. I don't want to put all bins straight up in line, but I had my idea because of videos that I used to watch from London and stuff like that. How they used to keep the neighborhoods clean and stuff like that. So I used to come on here when I first started podcasting. This is how I used to come up, and I was like, "Yo, it's crazy how New York came up with the idea that they got these big bins put together." And it's like taking up parking space and stuff like that. I don't want that. I was like, but in reality, if you look at it, 2 little bins or 1 little bin right there in each corner, right, will be enough that, people just throw their trash in there to keep the streets clean, right? Now, with that there and people having a trash can next to their steps, right, in front of their own, I don't give a fuck if you're renting or you own your own property. Put that trash can right there. Put a trash bag in it, right? And if somebody decides to throw fucking trash on the floor, there being a trash can, whether they're in a car or walking by, right, then they should get a fine. Because it's like, what's the excuse now? You can't say there's no trash cans in sight, so I'm going to just throw my trash on the floor. I'm just putting one example out there. You see my point? But that idea got thrown away. Oh, we don't need that because it's going to make the streets trashier. How do you know if we don't try? I'm like, I can't be a leader of the community if you keep shutting down all my ideas. You see where I'm coming from? Y'all agree with some, but with the ones that could really change this neighborhood, y'all throw to the side because y'all think it's taking away y'all freedom. Listen to yourselves. It makes no fucking sense to me.
It is not going to make sense. You know what I always say. People always want to be right instead of the lesson or the message being right, right? So y'all are y'all really that upset that y'all didn't come up with that idea, that y'all don't want to see if it works or not? Let's see if it works. If it don't work, we can always remove the situation. A street captain, this ain't working. I think we need to pull that back. We all voting on it. We all agree that this ain't working. Let's pull that back. Then that's how you shut it down.
And that's my whole point. So meanwhile, it's harder for me to do it on my own. I've been taught, like, I got to give a big shout out to Word. I got to give it to Miss April Showers, because they were the first ones in the 8th grade podcast, right? They was like, Ray, if the people not listening, then you keep doing. You show consistency. Like, all right, fuck it. They don't, you got the ideas. You keep giving it to the politicians. Keep giving it. And that's what I continue to do. Like, fuck it. Some of them pull through, like the cameras. Everybody was saying, oh, it is against, the privacy of the children to have cameras. That's why they don't do that bullshit. Because of all of us coming together, we got them in the buses. Guess what? Now my daughter's school is going to be one of the schools where they're going to try putting cameras in all the classrooms, including the hallways, not just in the principal's office and not just in the main entrance. Now we're going to have cameras like we've been asking. So for those of y'all, it don't work. Well, guess what? Us coming together, we pull some shit through. But right now we're so divided that even if the fucking war ended, right, and the air cleared out, and the air cleared out, the smoke cleared out, we would still have debris in our eyes. We would still be asleep and blind to the motherfucking facts with the answers in our faces. How does that make us look? Let's be real. And y'all wonder why the government don't fucking give in. Because when they do give in, we make them look like fools too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's definitely hard to move the needle when you the only one that's trying to set a precedence, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that's why you have to continue to do what you're doing, because you trying to make it comfortable enough. Yo, let's have the conversation. So now we sitting around, we had a conversation. What y'all think we should do on the block? Well, let's just try it on the block first. All right, let's see if we can find a big dumpster thing, and we put it on the corner. I mean, y'all might get fined for that. I'm just saying,
That's why I'm
it's so
saying
many
I
loopholes that
have
you
to.
gotta do.
I already know what to do around it. That's why I always say, yo, listen, with a petition, we can go far. All I need is y'all signatures. Y'all back me up on this shit. The judge will sign off on it. That's all I need is the judge's permission, and I won't get a fine. You know why I know it will work? Because there's already 2 blocks within Philadelphia that has done that. But guess what?
Mm.
Other blocks don't want to do it. If we sit here and we sign as citizens, like, okay, yes, this is what we want. It feels as though, this can help us out. I can go up there, give the speech that I need to give, and they will budge a little bit. Let's give it a try. But if we don't do shit, it ain't gonna work. That's why I was, little by little, like I do every year. I was like, y'all don't want to clean? Fuck it, I'll do this myself. And I just give when they give me supplies and stuff like that, and I put out of pocket, I'm only going to give it to those that I know that are going to come out and help. If you're not willing to come out and help, well, then I don't give a fuck what you think, and I don't give a fuck how you feel. That's how I started getting. Because at the end of the day, I'm busting my ass doing this shit by myself. What are you putting into it? You want to complain? Put something into it. If you don't want to put money into it, put some fucking work into it, because we're putting the rest in. Something got to
Yeah,
give. Because I'm tired. Like
yeah,
I
but
told everybody, I'm tired. Like, if y'all not going to do it, well,
and
then
you're
I'm going to
supposed
continue
to be
doing what I'm
tired.
doing.
Yeah, if you've been doing this long enough, you just can't be the voice of reason. You can't be the person with the actions of reason. Somebody got to
Mm-hmm.
say, well, here's the bigger thing. Where's the goddamn compassion, right? Damn, Shorty doing that all by herself. Yo, you got that, Shorty? You good? All right, cool. Ma'am, you got that? Or how are they going to approach you? Like, yo, you need help? Then another person doing, hey, maybe somebody else will pick it. I always say one reaches 1,000, right? You may not have reached that one yet, but that one is coming. And then when you reach that one's going to reach another one, and then it's going to pick up. But slow and steady does win the race. You understand what I'm saying? That's why consistency is key. Because if you consistent enough, somebody gonna say, you know what? I can't just continue to watch her do A, B, and C. I might as well
Yep.
help her with A, B, and C. And if I got the strength, I could do D. And somebody else see me doing D, they might want to do E, F, and G. And then it goes on and on and on. It's a process that you gotta go through, right?
That's a
But
fact.
we have to understand, if Rome wasn't built in a day, then everybody with common sense, even though I don't think common sense is common anymore, they're gonna pick up slowly but surely as well.
And that's a fact. And that's why I gotta give it to people like you, like the word and stuff like that. Because when y'all talk, the message might not be for everybody, but there's some people like me and the people that are around me that'll get that message and do something with it. You see where I'm coming from? What
Yeah,
you gonna
because
do?
yeah, absolutely. Because I understand the message may not be for everybody, but it may be for someone. See, that's
Facts.
why I go by the logic. See what I'm saying? That's why I say one could reach 1,000, because it may not be for everybody, but it may be for that someone. What I give you, you might be able to break it down for somebody that's understandable for the next person, right? I give a message. I'm not from Philly. If you break it down in your Philly term, yo, what she's saying makes sense. All right, let's try it that way. But that's not, as long as you understand your ego's not in the way, because the message is right. It's not about you
It's
getting
a
credit. It's
fact.
about the message being given credit. So now you pass it on. They start picking it up. Yo, the Jones, that, and that. Okay, cool. They pick it up. Now they do it. That's the thing that we have to lean on. We have to lean on people breaking our stuff down to where it may reach somebody in Philly. It may reach somebody in New York. It may reach somebody in Atlanta. It may reach somebody in LA, right? But you
Yeah,
gotta have the conversation. If you don't have the conversation, nobody know what you're talking about.
that's a fact. And that's why I said it. Like, man, I gotta give it to y'all because on some real shit, Listen, if it wasn't for the advice that was given to me about the petition, shout out to Miss April Shower. She was the very first one to sit here and motivate me, right? Then came the word. Then came, well, first April Showers, Nate. I remember this shit in order because they all came in line like, yo, Ray, don't quit, keep doing what you're doing. Boom, boom, boom. I used the same shit to, because around that same time I became the block captain, which was around like 3 years ago and stuff like that. And I was going through a lot. So it was like, fuck it, like let me use what they're giving me because I can't do it exactly how they're doing it. Let me flip it around and turn it into something. And I'm doing it. I was like, the same way I gotta be with this petition, I gotta be with the people within around me. Like, I hate it because I'm not a politician, but I gotta get political with them. You see where I'm coming from? And if I don't show them, like, all right, fuck it, you don't want this, but those that want it are going to get something from it. But I'm sure I'm not going to sit here and bust my ass and give you for nothing in return on this situation. You see where I'm coming from? Because at the end of the day, this is not for me and this is not for you. This is for the kids. My kids walk these trenches with your kids. And I sure as hell want them to be safe. And I want them to get the fuck out these corners. Because these kids are getting younger and younger in each corner, whether y'all like it or not, especially here in Philly. They're in these corners 8, 7 years old, busting fucking traps. Why? I don't fucking know. 8, 7 years old, vaping. Why? Oh, wait. Let's not forget, we're just getting these programs back. I don't know how many other cities are starting to get programs back, but I do know that Philadelphia, shout out to Cheryl Parker, since she's been back, we're getting programs back. Programs that we had back in the 90s that were helping us out. Why do you think our generation is, even though our generation and the generation before us fucked up this generation and the generation that's coming up, right? I'm gonna say we had a better upbringing than what this generation, my generation, is giving this generation. So I feel as though those programs are needed because some of these parents are not capable of teaching these kids morals, respect, honesty, how to work, how to become entrepreneurs. Some of these kids go to the store and they get played. They get cheated out their fucking money. Don't even realize it. Come home, get their ass whooped. Well, you should have taught your kids some math. Basic math at that. Because even I know basic math and I fucking hate math. I have issues with math. But you see my point? Like, but I know how to count my money. Shit. Like, what the fuck? We've gotten so lazy to the point. Like, that's why I love listening to Gary, because it's crazy as shit that in situations like this, when I come and bring topics like this, his lives matter, right? At the moment, I'm just listening, trying to understand what he's saying. But when I end up talking about topics like this, like what we're going on, what's going on here in Philadelphia, what he is saying makes a lot of sense, especially what he said yesterday. Is independent, are we really independent? And it seems like we're really not. So if you missed his live from yesterday, make sure y'all go check him out on some real shit, because y'all will understand what I am trying to say. And it will answer all the unanswered questions that y'all got right now.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just sitting there trying to understand that word really has killed a whole community. Well, I don't need you to do this, that, and the third. Okay, so let me see how you gonna do this then. You don't need them, right? So let's see how y'all gonna get rid of this trash. Oh, well, I can't get there because I gotta work 2 jobs. Okay, so now you just where you gonna put the trash at? You gonna leave it in your house? Now your house smell like boo-boo. Then you can't leave it in the backyard. Now y'all worried about the infestation of rats and rodents and maggots and all of these other things. What are y'all going to do? Y'all independent. How do y'all make this work? Well, we're not independent no more because you are dependent on them. So if you're dependent on these people, let's make sure they get what they need.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh, but yo, that's some real shit right now. Look how his topic lands on my topic today. Like, it fits perfectly hand in hand. That's the crazy part. And who would have known? I would have never known that listening to his topic, because I wasn't thinking about it yesterday at the moment. I'm just listening to him. But listen how he hit the points on what's going on right now. And I'm sitting here like, oh shit, wasn't you just talking about this? And I'm thinking it was 2 days ago. That shit was just yesterday. He was just talking about this shit. So boom.
But that's why We in the group, the 9%. That's why we say it. We all have we all individuals, but we have the same goal. We want everybody to be a better version of themselves. If they become better, we become better. Why? Because somebody's receiving the message that's being put out there, right? We're not just talking mumbo jumbo. It's making sense. Wait a minute. We need these people over here. So let's go on over here and help somebody. This is not the Alabama boat ride. We trying to do this for one day and then and go back to normal. Nah, we don't want normalcy. We want to improve ourselves. We tired of changing because every time we change, we go right back to our regular selves. Now we need to improve for the better, because once you improve for the better, you're gonna want more things that become better, right? You're gonna want more and more. Okay, so now that we taking care of this garbage situation, now we can sit there and worry about better health care, or we could worry about the after school program, or maybe we could just come up together and say, listen, we're gonna make a link and we do our own after school program right here in this
Like the
place, right
word
here
has.
in the park when it's nice days. Like, yo, we just gonna sit there, we're gonna bring some tables, do some homework, let the kids do some homework. Y'all go on out there and play. We checked it. All right. If your parents coming to pick you up, boom, we good. Look, they did their homework. Now you make it easier for that parent that got the two jobs. Say, you know what, y'all did do your homework. All I gotta do is feed y'all and put y'all to bed. You gotta have these conversations. You have to understand. You have to be dependent of one another. That's why a community is necessary. If we could come together with like-minded situation and bring it to the table and make it work, you don't need the city to be dependent on. You can be dependent on the people that are just like you, or they look like you, or they have the same situation as you. Them higher ups don't have that same situation as you. They're banking that you depend on them because they need you to depend on them. If you don't depend on them, they're gonna get voted out. Well, there ain't nothing happening. You didn't do none of this stuff. Well, you got to go. Next election, they're out. This is why I'm saying if we can all work together, the outcome will be totally different.
That's a fact. That's what I'm saying here. I was like, yo, y'all, the city of Philadelphia wilding right now. Like, y'all, we all voted for this lady because we was hopeful that she was going to make changes, and she did until these rumors started surfacing and the strike happened. Where the rumors came from, I don't know. Is there, what do you call it? Like a plant somewhere? I don't know if I said it right, and I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking
Yeah, it's a
about.
plant. It's a plant. Somebody sitting up there telling nonsense in her party or in her office or in her staff, whatever you want to call it. That's a plant.
Mm-hmm. Because it's crazy as shit. Like, come on, y'all gotta realize this lady has done a lot. Like, all right, listen, I can't sit here and be mad at her. The way she's found the funds for the housing and all this shit. Listen, she can't help what Trump did. Trump, listen, he already passed the big beautiful bill. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I mean, Gary will tell me in 1 second after I land my plane, right? But he's already done that. So there's going to be a lot of cuts to the welfare. There's going to be a lot of cut to the, how can I say, to the SSI. There's going to be a lot of cut to, a lot certain people in housing, right? So that's not her fault. Now, she's done her job, as in what we've asked her to do. She's done it, and she is doing it. Now, it's a matter of whatever, them, the union, right, which are also citizens of Philadelphia, which people fail to forget, right? They're not politicians. They're also citizens of Philadelphia. And this, I feel as though should have been dealt with differently, more respectfully, more, I don't know how to explain this shit, more professionally. There you go. Because what's crazy on them videos that we seeing, right, the only people that have access to these trash trucks, right, are the people from the union, the sanitation workers and stuff. It's crazy how a lot of them got together to throw trash in front of the mayor's parkway. Like, I get what y'all saying, but why not land it all right there, in front of the sanitation place? And, made y'all statement. This is why I don't want to become a politician.
Look, park the garbage trucks in front of the driveway. You can't get out.
Something like that, but y'all did that, like, not realizing she had neighbors. You see where I'm coming from? What if she had kids? Like, whatever the fuck is going on between y'all and her has nothing to do with anybody around her. It's right. My point. This is why I don't want to become a politician. They're like, yo, you should run for mayor. For what? First of all, I don't got money like that to back me up or get me out of any heat of the moment shit that my mouth gets me into. You see what I'm, because listen, like I tell people, I have no hairs in my mouth, and I might pull a Trump and say, what the fuck you talking about in front of everybody, in front of the media, and not give a fuck about it. You see, I'm doing it now.
Hey, it worked for him. It worked for him.
Hey,
look, he the exception to the rule, I guess, but it works for some people.
Shit, Trump said, I'm tired, I'm fed up. Y'all asking me some fucking dumbass questions. And it's true. And I'm only a leader of my own community. You see, I'm not just the leader of my own community. I'm the leader of my house. I'm the mother of this. You know, I'm the head of this household. You see where I'm coming from? So it's like people don't understand. Right. Like, why don't y'all put yourself in her shoes too? I mean, I'm just saying, can y'all walk them all in her shoes? Because I wouldn't. I don't want to walk them on her shoes.
They can't even. They don't even want to fit her shoe size. They're gonna scrunch their feet up to make it too tight. I can't put these shoes on, and that's what I'm saying. You everybody want to talk. Everybody want to have roles and no titles. They want the titles with no roles. All of these things is factual. Like everybody want to. Hey, if I was the mayor, now you have the choice. Now what y'all want to do? Be the mayor of your block. Let me see what happens on your block. See what I'm saying?
It's hard as shit. Trust me.
Let me see how you rock that. I'm just saying you can start with the small parts, right? But let me ask you this question, right?
You've seen it. Shit, I've done lives when it's time to close the block, and people have seen how some people in this community be like assholes. Even on my own birthday, I think this was 2 summers ago, I did a live and everybody was saying it too. Like, and then I did a live the next day. How the fuck you expect to be a leader of your community if you can't even fucking lead? You can't even lead with respect, honor, or dignity. I mean, I know I curse a lot, right? But this is the only way I can get motherfuckers to listen. Can I be professional? Yes, because if in front of the politicians I can be professional, I can be with my neighbors. The crazy part is I could be professional with some neighbors, but I got to get ratchet like this with others. And it proved it. 2 summers ago on my birthday, somebody was telling me that, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. I was like, you going to sit here and tell me this is like this is like that, when you haven't even picked up the motherfucking book, you don't even know the codes, the violations, you don't know your fucking laws or your rights. I could at least sit here and tell, no, I may not know the penal codes, which means the numbers to each one, but I could sit here and read you a few of them. Because it took me a minute reading them time back to back. Like, for example, motherfuckers, you know, when you close a block, you can't force nobody to move their car. It's up to the person to remove their car. There's nothing in the laws, nothing in the books that says it's a violation if you leave your car when they're having a block party. So what do we do about that? Since there's no violation, right? What changes can be made about that if those are changes that y'all want done? But me personally, you're not going to get me to argue with somebody over their parking space. Now tell me what solutions you want to bring to the table and I'll listen. But other than that, bring out your shit. You see where I'm coming from? Learn your laws, learn your rights, learn these little codes and shit that they have, right? Then come and holler at me because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not sitting here in these boring ass meetings for no fucking reason, talking to these politicians, asking them questions for no reason. So if you want to do what I'm doing, right, then do it. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah,
because it's not easy.
It ain't. This is not for the weak. Nothing that's being done today is for the weak, right? For you to be, for you to have the voice, or you to make the voice that you have, it has to take strength, right? For you to have to sit there and listen to these politicians have a conversation, you got to have the patience. That's strength too. Everything consists of strength. Now, how the strength goes, whatever, the patience, the compassion, the understanding, all of that may be considered a strength. So you got to be able to hold yourself, hold your ground. Even when you got to bite your tongue, you got to hold your ground, because just in case in case you got to say something, you got to be ready to strike when the iron's hot. You got to choose your battles wisely. You got to do all of these things. If you don't have the control, you might as well gracefully bow out, because you're not going to win. But you're doing the things that you need to do, because you know what I say: winners don't quit, and quitters will never win. So if you don't try it, you never know what you can do. So that's why you got to continue to do what you're doing. and be consistent with what you're doing. Doesn't matter if one person helped you or nobody helped you. The consistency is key. I'm telling you, somebody gonna be like, yo, this damn Rachel, she doing too much on the block. I might as well go on out there and help her. Yo, I got this from this time to this time. You go on
Oh,
ahead.
they've
I
done
see
it.
you with this one over there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the strategy is working. The patience is included. So once all of these things is added, you're gonna see some things move around a little bit. You know, even if it's just a little stone that gets turned over, right? Everything is not gonna be moved in a fast pace that everybody wants it to. But you know, like I said, slow and steady wins the race sometimes.
That's a fact. I don't know if you've heard this, Carrie, but I want you to listen to these words, right? I'm about to put a song on real quick, right? And I want you to let me know, right, if this is not what we're going through right now.
While we're here. Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business. Not because they want to do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes. This day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I want to share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battles cause our impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're
Image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battles cause I'm a church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battles cause I'm a church.
What you think about what the boy said throughout this whole song? And it might go over a lot of people's heads because he's a white boy, but they don't even realize he walked these trenches too, just like us.
Well, the best way to sum it up is for people to understand it is as simple as this, right? You make the best out of a bad situation. If you play spades, you know what I'm talking about, right? Just because
Mm-hmm.
you ain't got those big hands, right? You play the hand out. If you got the understanding, you got discernment, you got whatever you need, you still could make a couple of books, even if you ain't got no spades in your hand, right? I can get you 2 books, and then you
Fact.
play it, you finesse it the way you finesse it, you might get a 3rd book or a 4th book, and then turn around and make it the hand in your favor and get the other team stuck. Meaning you paid so much attention that you didn't have nothing, but you had enough to make the opponent lose the hand. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand what your standards are. You got to understand what
Mm-hmm.
you possess inside of you. If you don't understand what you possess inside of you, that's when you go around and say, you know what, I need to figure this out. And that's when you turn to people that really wants the best for you. Stop acting like you're a burden, and then I'm a burden because I don't know. If you've done enough work, you're not gonna be a burden. We're gonna get you to where you need to get to. We're gonna assist you to what you need to do to develop yourself, or as I say, improve yourself. And once you improve yourself, you can take that assistance and rise to the occasion instead of, falling back in the back because you worried about the outcome. Stop living in fear, because once you handle the situation, you no longer have to fear it. So that's what he's pretty much saying. You gotta use what you got. If you ain't got enough in your hand to play with right now, wait till that next hand is the next day is a new hand. You see what I'm saying? Let's see what the cards do you that day. And you still might be up ahead. You can stay even, but nobody wants to pull back in the hole, right? You rather be in the black than the red. So that's what he's saying. But it's up to the individuals to know what they got. Everybody is working off of what people telling them they got. Well, you ain't got it because you ain't got A, B, and C. I tell people all the time, you the storehouse. You don't know what you have inside of you because you ain't looked inside of yourself hard enough. If you look inside of yourself hard enough, I can actually make this situation better by just being present, by just saying, you know what, I got your back. Just saying whatever you need, I'm here for you. That could just lift somebody's day into a whole new aspect. Just saying good morning could turn somebody's sad day into a bright day because somebody, hey, they see that I just needed somebody to say good morning to me or whatever it is that, you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand what you possess. Until you know what you possess, you're gonna be walking the green mile. You're gonna be walking the dead man walking. You zombie like. It's time for everybody to wake up and elevate themselves. That's what he's saying. I just translated it in another way.
That's some real shit. That is some real shit. That's why I don't just pretend to be a politician on some real shit. I'm like, I got a lot of offers. Like, nope, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. You want to know why? Because I get more done, right? Having one foot in politics and one foot in the streets. I feel as though that if I do end up being all the way into politics, I won't be able to do what I got to do in the streets. You see where I'm coming from? It'll take away. It's not my job. That's not my position. That's not where I'm supposed. Now, hand in hand with them, that's where I'm supposed to be at. Because I'm not supposed to turn my back on my people. See where I'm coming? Call me a murder, whatever the fuck you want to call me. Like, say that I'm risking it. But at the end of the day, I guess that's my calling. A lot of people say I'm an advocate for the kids, right? I've been a voice for the kids for the longest. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm fighting for. I have kids. You see where I'm coming from? So at the end of the day, it's like It's a passion for me. I don't need to get paid for this because I want to see my kids, right, that are walking the same trenches that y'all kids are walking on, be safe. Can we take the dangers away from the streets all the way? No. But can we come together as, like we was at one point? I'm not going to say we, like, the generation before us was at one point raising us. And I don't know if that makes sense on that part, right? Because we did have something. Not everybody had, a good time back in the 90s, you see, but we had something. We learned something. What do we have now? Nothing. What are we passing on to our kids? Nothing. Right? A lot of people are even saying, what legacy are you passing? You don't even have a legacy. Motherfucker, you are the legacy. What you become, what comes of you, what you build and pass on. That's the legacy. Like how good of a father you are, how good of a mother you are. You don't want to be leaving this world and be, oh damn, that was the worst father in the world. That was the worst son in the world. He wasn't nothing but, bad in our lives. Fuck it. We ain't gonna miss him. Imagine your kids and your family and the people that you say you love thinking like you about that. Like, come on, let's be real. You are the motherfucking legacy. What you do in this life, what you leave behind for your kids is the legacy. What your kids turn into is the legacy. My kids turning into something worth, how can I say something? I don't even know how to put it into words. Like that, how can I say, becoming what they want to become in life, right? Being happy, right? That's my legacy. Knowing that they're going to be set straight, knowing that they've become somebody in life, not somebody important, but somebody in life, because we are somebody to somebody in life, whether you like it or not. If you're not here today, somebody's going to miss you. There's somebody that you are important to, whether you like it or not. And it took, it's crazy. Like I tell people, it took the father of my daughter right now, my fiance, my baby father, for me to understand that. No matter you could think that the world hates you, that is you against the world, but there's always that one person that if you're gone, they're going to miss you. For example, me, my kids. If I'm gone, they're going to feel it the most. The world may forget me, but I'm never going to fade from their minds. That's the one thing I got to understand. So I be cautious, and sometimes I'm in the line of danger. I know my kids are safe, and I know that if I do go that day, they're going to remember me as a loving mother. So I'm straight. I have no fears right now. You see where I'm coming from? Now I do fear losing them, and I'm going to feel the same way that they lost me. So I do try to be as cautious as I can when I walk these streets, and I'll have boots on the ground, because I do create enemies. I create haters, because at the end of the day, I'm being positive. I'm trying to bring something back to our communities, and a lot of people are against that shit. Why? That's an answer that I can never give nobody, because I don't know why myself, and I ask it myself too. Like, I be in a maze trying to figure out, like, you asked for this, now you don't want it. Something wrong with you.
Yeah, because you place yourself in a situation, right? So this is the thing, right? The greatest legacy right now, if something was to happen, right?
Yeah,
You can be viewed as a person. Your legacy would be you overcoming, right? That's the legacy. That's the
yeah,
legacy that a lot of people don't even understand that they have to have in the first place, right? Because if you ain't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, right? But you have an abundance of something, right? You have an abundance of,
yeah.
perseverance. I'm not just going to sit here and take this lying down, right? So now you're making a
Facts.
move to where your kids can have a better thing, that a better situation than they had than you had before them, right? Our
Exactly.
job as a parent is to be better than to allow our kids to have better than what we have. It doesn't mean that they get to grow up with silver spoons. It just gets to mean that they have better than what we have, right? Like we don't,
Yep.
like I told you before, we have disagreements about it, right? But a lot of the time, we had the community to where, okay, Mr. Jones could chastise the kid, and then, well, when your parents get home, they're gonna take care of the rest. But I'm just making sure you stay yourself out of trouble. We don't have that no more. Why? Because
Yeah.
we are individuals, and there go that word independent again. Don't touch my don't. You can't talk to my kid like that, even if the kid is in the wrong way. You can't talk to my kid like that, right? But once you overcome those type of situations to where, you know what, I know you don't mean my kid no harm. Listen, you're gonna respect Miss Jones over there. You're gonna respect the
Facts.
OG Mr. Johnson or whatever, right? But we don't have those type of situations. Why? Because people want to close their curtains when times are tough, and they see things going. I don't want to be a witness. Well, when it's time to overcome, don't be a witness to it. You ain't gonna have to be a witness to it, because everybody's gonna talk about it. And that's what
Facts.
I'm saying. Once you leave that legacy of overcoming, they ain't gonna have no choice. But you know what? I remember when Rachel was sitting right there, and she would sit there and say, you know what? Yo, we gotta sit here and get this garbage bin up here, so that way people stop throwing their shit on the floor where she gotta go sweep it up. Now look, we got a garbage bin on the corner, people respecting it. People ain't gotta worry about no more garbage bin. It's the little things that count. Everybody wants to see. They want to see the tree, but they don't want to plant the seed. You see what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
the overcoming that's the legacy that you will be leaving if anything was to happen. That's why we tell you all the time to continue to do what you do, because even if you plant the seed, somebody's going to water it. The sun is
Exactly.
going to nurture it with its light, and that's all you need to do. So that's the best legacy to leave, is to show, like, listen, I'm a female and I can overcome these situations. I'm a guy and I can overcome the situation. The options against me, the people are hating on me, but still in all, I made a resounding mark in on the block, in the city, whatever you want to call it. Why? Because you made a change. Just your voice alone could make a change. And that change is not even a change, it's an improvement. To where somebody said, let me pick up the mantle where she dropped it, and I'm gonna keep going forward with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I tell people, like, if I was to go or something happened to me today, it's going to continue. I got people that's going to continue doing the work that I'm doing. I got a nice little group behind me. You see where I'm coming from? So I'm not worried about nothing. I've set my goals. I lived the life the way that I wanted to live life. I've overcome my past, my situations. I'm teaching my kids how to overcome, whatever obstacles come their way, face their fears, and move on with situations, not to hold on. You see where I'm coming from? So, like I tell people, what happens, it happens. At least my kids know that I love them. At least they know that if this was to happen, this is what mommy wanted. You see where I'm coming from? Like, will they continue with it? It looks like they will so far. So, you know, I'm not worried. I mean, I've planted my seed good. Like, I'm just hoping that, you know, they do what they got to do. And I got faith that they will.
Yeah, just know that you planted your seed. Just because you planted your seed and it fell on fertile ground. A lot of the seeds may not, you know, it might get choked out. It may be on stony ground. It may grow a little bit, but on that fertile ground, it's going to grow into the thing that it's supposed to grow into. So you shouldn't worry
Facts, I
about
can't
that.
pick
You
it.
did your part.
Yeah,
You did your part.
exactly. Like I
That's
told
the
people.
best you can do.
And my only job right now, like for example, my 18-year-old is just back him up. Like he's got everything straight, you know, his head on straight right now. So it's like I tell people, like I'm not worried. I just gotta do what I gotta do, live, love, and laugh, or some real shit. Because all this shit don't really like. If I wanted to, like I tell people, I don't gotta get involved in none of this shit, but I choose to because at the end of the day, my kids are still walking these trenches. So at the end of the day, right? Do we really have an option? I mean, I feel as though like sometimes if you're not going to sit here and do something, then I'm going to get up and fucking do it. Because I don't want my child to be in the middle of some bullshit. I don't want my child to be caught up in some shit. I don't want my child, I don't want a 911 dispatcher or a 911 officer knocking at my door, or getting a call from them saying, hey, like, listen, you have to come up to the morgue. Or your child is in a, jail cell right now. Are you willing to pay the bond? You see my point? So at the end of the day, I got to make sure that shit is straight around them. Yes, I want more programs. If y'all not going to get up and do it, then I'm going to do what I got to do. Y'all not going to help, then I'm going to continue to do what I got to do. Because I don't want my child in these streets selling drugs. I don't want my child in these streets banging out. I don't want my child in these streets catching bodies or worrying about which little girl loves him or doesn't love him or which one is going to rob him off his pockets. That's not the future I want from him. That's the future y'all want, and it seems like it's the future that a lot of people seem to want in the hood, in the ghetto. For some reason, y'all want to repeat the cycle, but a lot of these kids don't. And my kids are some of them.
That's the best way to do it. You know what I mean? That's the best way to do it. Be the example. That's all we can be. All we can do is be the example. That's it. That's all we can do. Now, no one can ever say, you know what? She only complained about certain things, right? Now that you said nobody was doing it, now that you done it, you set your precedence. That's the legacy you leaving.
That's a fact.
She just ain't say nobody didn't want to speak about this. Now that I'm speaking about it, nobody can say nobody didn't speak about it. I was one of those people that said I didn't speak about it. Now that I'm speaking about it, I can't say nothing to nobody. Now I'm gonna look at myself. Okay, what do I got to do? That's got to be better. That's why I tell people sometimes your right answer is not the solution, because anybody could say, yo, we need to do this. Okay, now let's get to the solution of how we can get this thing done. So that answer could be right. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
This is the stuff that I've been saying in the past week.
All this complaining that they're having about the mayor and shit, y'all better figure this shit out as citizens, because look, at the end of the day, the ladies are doing, and me as a block captain, me as a citizen of Philadelphia, right? I can sit here and honestly say, right, we've demanded these things. She's getting, right, her along with Boyle, right? Congress, right? Is where I'm coming from. The board that deals with the schools and the housing and all that. But people fail to realize, right? All right, Boyle deals with the schools. We get these cameras in it. But do y'all not know that the mayor has to pass this shit? The mayor has to find a way to get these funds to get this shit approved. You do know that the mayor has to have a sit down with not just Congress, but how can I say it? What are they called? All the legislators to get certain shit approved here that we're asking, like cameras,
councilmen, representatives.
Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here like, y'all realize that shit.
All of that gotta work.
Like she's making a lot of sacrifices here for us, and like we're giving her our ass to kiss. I mean, I'm not taking her side all the way. I'm on both sides is the crazy part, right? But being on that situation fucks me over a little bit. You see where I'm like, I get where they're coming from, but y'all walked away. So it's kind of making me like y'all making it difficult for me to be like, all right, I'm a citizen. You know, right now I'm not working, but I've worked. You see, I've been a health aide. I worked, you know, in places that I've been needed. You see, well, like I don't know how to explain it, so I understand where they're coming from. But if they gave you a raise, why shut it down? What is it that y'all asking for? Be specific, because in the news y'all saying one thing, y'all striking, screaming, and shouting this, right? But then y'all giving this at the table and y'all reject it. So it's like you make it hard for the people that want to be right there neutral. I don't know if I'm saying it right this time.
You sound like you know what you're talking about. You good?
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's a pain in the ass because we do got some good ass workers. But if you got that raise, man, be happy with it before. What would happen if they do like they're doing in New York? A lot of people in New York in the sanitation business are losing their jobs in certain bureaus because they already got the trucks to pick up the dumpsters and the trash cans on its own. Basically, they don't need people to fucking pick up the trash. They've done it in other cities too. So when it hits Philadelphia, are we going to strike again? What is there to strike when they already replaced you? Am I making a point now?
Yeah, because this is the funny part. Now somebody comes in, a private contractor, and here go the independent shit, right? So the private contractor comes in now. He comes in. I'm gonna take you up on your offer. I'm gonna just hit this part of the city first. You guys handle that other part. So now that they do that, the city say, you know what, y'all doing well enough. Nobody's complaining. So now we're gonna start phasing out the public workers. Now we're gonna have the private people pay their own stuff, and y'all working at it that way. So now the city is losing employment, right? The city worker now lost the city job. Now what y'all going to do? This is what I'm saying. You have to understand what you guys have got to go through. You got to understand both sides of the road. If you don't understand both sides of the road, you're going to lose the race. That's not good for you.
Real shit. But then shit, the motherfuckers on here always in fucking competition. Oh, we better. No, motherfuckers. Philly ain't no better than no other city right now. Y'all just as worse as the same cities y'all complain about. That's why. Listen, I know people start hating me when I get like this, but at the end of the day, like, this shit is stupid. Enough is enough because our elderly people are suffering, our kids are suffering, and our fucking streets are starting to smell like ass butt juice. All right? We look like some fucking donkeys all over the news. He's not out again. That I mean, like, it's some real shit. Like, the rumors that they're saying against her. I mean, unless we can prove them, right? We need to shut the fuck up and do what we gotta do. That's it.
But see, that's why I don't like politics, because that could be a political ploy, right? That could be the union trying to set her up to fail and all this other stuff, and then they get her down, and then they win, and then it's a lot. That's why me in politics, I don't really like to do it per se. That's why I do what I need to do, right? Instead of what I have to do, I need to do it. It's a difference. I have to do it. No, I need to do it, because if I need to do it, that means I don't want nobody else to be in the way of me getting the things done. So that's what you got to do. So, you know what I mean? I won't, like I said, if it gets any worse, people, I'm telling you, I already know what they're going to do. They're going to sit there, get on them black bins, burn that garbage up. Like, y'all ain't coming to get it. I don't care. I'll take that fine, whatever. I'm going to just say, y'all ain't want to pick up the trash. What am I supposed to do? Live in infestation? What if a rat bite my kid? How am I supposed to take care of that rat bite? See what I'm saying? All of these things matter. But they keep thinking about themselves and not thinking about everybody else. That's why I'm saying that independency shit, that shit fucked everything up. And now you seeing it in effect right now. I. What about everybody else? I know you have to take care of yourself. But if we work together, there's no iron team, but there's an iron win. So if we win, you win. If you win, we win. If we all win, we're in a good place to be. That's how you're supposed to look at things. But I don't
the same thing earlier. No, you're right. Because I mean, the same things you've been saying throughout this whole life that you got on here, my baby pops was saying earlier on some real shit. So you is completely right. You're not wrong. That's why I tell a lot of people, man, this man right here is my backbone for real, for real. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You get the opportunity to have that person behind you that's going to, you know what, whatever you weak at, we're gonna work at it together for it to no longer be your weak point. Now you don't have a weak link. I mean, you may have a weak link, but we're gonna work on every link to make sure it's strong enough to not be your weakest point. And
yeah,
that's why everybody needs somebody. That's why I tell people you may be born alone, you may die alone. But in between that time, you're gonna need somebody to be dependent on. And this is what I was saying. You gotta have somebody that's gonna hold you down. If you want to
yep.
be independent, you think you can hold the world like Atlas? You see, they made a statue of him. He no longer exists. Why? He
Mm,
ain't here today. Why? You see what I'm saying? It only lasts for a
that,
certain amount of time.
that's a
Dependency could
fact.
last all the time because even if somebody decides to leave, somebody else could take that spot and hold you down the same way, if not better than the person that just left you for their individual reasons. That's
Mm.
why I say I don't like independency. I don't like that word independent. Shout out to the word. He says self-sufficient. That's why
Do you?
they need to be self-sufficient and not independent. Because as long as you put that independent word there, you're gonna keep looking out for yourself. You could be self-sufficient and be selfless at the same time. But as
Facts.
long as you got independent there, you're gonna be looking for that first letter I instead of we and them and us. You're gonna always look at that I because that's the first letter you're gonna look at. But like I
You were
said, I
saying
may not know what I'm talking about.
you were saying earlier, right, that it could seem like they could be somebody in cahoots and up there, right? They could be trying to set up either the union or her to fail, right? Do you think
Yeah,
that a lot of this, right? Because something that I'm noticing, there's something happening in almost every city here in America, and it's like the politicians, workers at war with the civilians, or there's some type of like riot or some type of it's something happening in every little city, and like people don't notice it unless it goes real big. Like right now, it's happening in Philadelphia. As the days goes by, as it continues, more people start knowing about it. But do you think that this is something like strings they're trying to push, like plants in certain places, causing more division to try to push this damn martial law that they want to pass so bad? And if they don't find it,
I
do you
don't.
think that they'll try to hit us like with a, I'm gonna say it, fuck it, I ain't scared to say it, with like some type of virus or shit like that to, shut grids down or actually go ahead with the war and
I
boom,
don't
grids
think
go down.
that's. I don't think. I don't think this is that. I just
No?
think this is about a power pull, a money pull. Like
Okay.
now, if this was like 50 years ago, like the 70s, 60s. No, I'm saying if this was like the 60s and 70s, somebody might say the mob got a hand in this. You see what I'm
Oh
saying? Because
shit.
they trying to get this. And they trying to get their hand in everything. So now we gotta get these astronomical numbers because now we gotta pay them or we gonna be in a situation, right?
Hmm.
They put their hands in everything. I just think it's the unions that want their hand in it to where they get their money, they give the rest of the people a little bit of money and say we did the best that we can and they get the money, the union. This is all about a union pull. This ain't nothing more, nothing less. I don't think it's to that extreme, but that's why I was going to ask you earlier. Like, a lot of these cuts, right? You guys are a commonwealth, so
Yeah.
this may affect y'all more than everybody else because you guys truly depend on the government because you commonwealth. So it's it's
Facts.
it's not like what I mean. It's not like your state has enough. That's why you're commonwealth. Just like the state taxes and all, y'all don't have all those type of taxes. Now y'all gonna have to finagle a way to do this, that, and the third. So
That's why.
my question was gonna be, how does it affect you that all of these the big beauty bill or whatever the hell this stupid bill is that he
That's
just
what I
passed
was saying
is gonna
earlier.
affect
Because
y'all differently?
I was saying that earlier because Sherelle Parker said she wasn't going to put the city's the city at risk, right? Because basically, like she was saying, she pulled all these tricks to get all these funds for the city of Philadelphia, right? So how is she going to pull off to pay the sanitation workers, the dispatchers, the medical workers from the morgues and all that stuff, the people that work at the schools and recreation centers. How is she going to get them this raise, right, without pulling more from other places that she fought to get these funds for all these places now? She's going to have to rob Peter, like you said, right, to feed them. How?
And
So that's
then,
why I
you
said I
know,
get
not
it.
to
Like
be,
you had to break it down like that for me to get the math real quick, because I was getting lost. I was like, if she cannot sit here and raise her money, why are they accusing her of this, right? And what the fuck is going on? Why not just expose her, and then maybe you'll get more people on your side, and something will get done. Throw the trash in the rich neighborhoods. Watch when they complain, the city will do some shit. But I don't know. I think we're thinking asshole backwards right now. Nobody's coming up with any good solutions.